Okay, I'm going to briefly talk about the parts of sort of the basic C++ program. And the IDEs will nowadays kind of put some sample code in there for you to use, just kind of to get you started. So I'm going to talk about that sample code and what are the pieces just to get that basic program together, up and running. And I'm actually going to switch back and forth between code blocks here, which I've already written that, and the compile online page. So I'll just start with compile online, the first page that comes with it. The program codes are I don't know if they're exactly the same, but if not, they're pretty similar. So here's the compile online page. It's called main CPP, right? That's the name of the file that we're writing ourselves. The very first line in line 1 says pound include IO stream, and it's inside angle braces, which kind of look like HTML, which I guess will end up being a problem at some point or other. But this pound include says, okay, go out to the libraries where your stuff is, and use this IO stream stuff. IO, I is input, O is output. Streaming is, well, you've seen streaming video and streaming music and stuff like that. Stream is that same idea where it's just kind of sent in one continuous flow. So this is basically the input and the output. This is where it comes from. And it says, okay, so put this input and output in our program. Just to quick flip back to code blocks, if we look into sources, then again, main CPP, here it is, we have the same thing, right? Pound include IO stream, right? Going from that. The next one is using namespace STD. STD in this case stands for standard. You'll see STD all over the place. It means standard in computer programming. I suppose it means other things. So basically what this is saying, and we'll look a little more in a couple minutes, is that, okay, all the stuff in the library is under a special category called standard. And this prevents us from having to put STD : or saying use that in front of everything we do. I'll take it out later and we'll see what happens. This next part all is sort of one piece. We have the word int, which is short for integer. We have the word main, which is the name of a function. And then we have these two squiggly braces. So this is saying that I have something called main, which sends back an integer, and this is how it's built. And you can see it's even got the little closed squiggly brace thing over here in code blocks to show that it's connected. Main is the name of a function. It's a very special name of a function. It tells the computer, okay, out of all the piles and piles of code that we've written, this is where to start. So it's saying, okay, start here, and when you're done, tell me how you did by sending back some integer, some number. Oh, and that matches this line here, right? This number says, okay, send back 0. In this case, 0 means everything worked well. So what we're doing in this program is really just this line here. This line says, okay, here's cout. Cout is actually an object, which is that console screen. And we're going to put to. A lot of people call this put to. A lot of people, well, the book specifically calls this the stream insertion operator, right? Stream, we saw that word before. So it says take this string, right? String is inside double quotes, and send it to the screen. Right? So take hello world, send it to the console output, and then take an end line, which is a new line, and then send it to the console. And then when you're all done, return 0. Right? So when I run it from here, it says, let me move that over. It says, hello world, skip the line, and then it says process return 0, blah, 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 blah. Press any key. This stuff is put in actually by code blocks just to kind of let you know what's going on here. Right, the process returns 0, set hello world without that end line. If we go over and look at it again here, and I hit compile and execute, it says blah 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 blah, compiling the source code, executing. Then it says hello world down here. So the sort of the console output for this screen is over here, and we can modify this. Like for instance, let's use my cut and paste skills. Oh, that's not very skillful. That's a little more skillful. I'll put it in there twice and run it. Right? I get hello world, hello world. Let's look at this endl while we're here. Let me take it out the first time. Right, then I get two hello worlds kind of next to each other. Wow, this is so exciting, isn't it? Okay, let's go back to code blocks and kind of look at the same thing, right? It's sort of the same deal. Wow, my indenting is seriously broken there. Okay, so here we have two of them. I'll run it. I'll run it. I'll run it. Okay, and then a little window popped up, said hello world twice. So here's, right, first, I guess, two things, the basic program and then what's happening in it. Right? So this whole thing, main, is what's happening. Let's break it a little bit and see what happens. Let me take this one out. Take it out and kind of show what's happening. If I run it, it's going to yell and say, down here, error, cout was not declared in this scope. It doesn't know what cout is, right? Because cout, yes, is in IOStream, like I said, but it's in the standard portion of IOStream, right? So we can say, okay, and the book does this, and you'll see a lot of code that looks this way. So, okay, so now I'm saying, okay, go into the standard portion and then use cout. I'll try this one now. It still won't work, but right, and it says endl was not declared in this scope. Yes, because endl is also in there. Now, everything works fine. So the deal is that endl, cout, these are all in the std part of IOStream. So if I put the using namespace std up here, then I don't have to put it every place in the whole program. Save yourself a little typing. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. And then we can kind of look at the same thing over here. We'll have the same issues. Let me just go back to a single line so I don't have to type so much over here. Right, and try and compile and execute it. Without it, it says cout was not declared in this scope. Notice this error and the other error were exactly the same. That's because they're both using the same compiler. Right, so I'd have to put std : in there. Okay. Let's make some other mistakes. Let's change name to main to main. See what happens. It says in function start undefined reference to main, right? Spelled correctly. Right? Like I said, that main is a special name. It has to have, or there has to be a function in your code called main, otherwise it doesn't know where to start. Right? Think of Word or some huge program. Right? You need to know where it's going to start with all that code that you have in there. Okay, so that's kind of the basics of a program.